Thank you, Judy. Spring is almost here, but that music gets me in the mood and prepares me to say yes, yes to life, yes to today, yes to this gathering. I invite you to join me in prayer as we set an intention on this hour we spend together. Let us pray. Almighty God, we gather to acknowledge you, that you are the source of life and all good things. Today we express our gratitude in the respect we hold for your creation. The earth, plant, animal, and human realms are all expressions of your perfect life and substance. On this day at Unity South, we gather to celebrate our past year and embrace the possibilities of the year ahead. All thanks to you. I invite you to join me in speaking our statement of being. Together, there is but one presence and one power in my life, in this church, and in the universe, God, the omnipotent good. And so it is. We welcome all today who have joined us in person and our friends who are joining us online. Thank you for your presence. If you are online, please share with us your name and location so we can be more aware of your presence. For those in the sanctuary, please silence any phones or other devices. Today, our music director, Judy Moen, has brought our friend, Colleen Hiebeler, here to enliven our service, so we appreciate that. Our live stream team is all present, Tyler, Joe, and Adam, and so we're grateful. So now that we've set the stage in our opening prayer and have acknowledged one another's presence, let's stand with our opening song, We Greet the Spirit. We greet the Spirit in one another and within all. Take it away, Carlotta. Where is John Trotman today with his running bass on that? We greet the Spirit on that. John, we miss you. Now in that joy, let's center ourselves as we acknowledge the presence in one another. You may have a special community, a special workplace or school, where everyone is mindful of the divine within each person. But I believe that is our central purpose when we come to unity or into any spiritual community, that we each make the effort to behold the truth, the divine spark within each individual. It's absolutely essential. That's what sets us apart from just any social organization. We make a commitment to see the truth in one another to the best of our ability. So I invite you to practice that now as you look around the sanctuary, catch an eye of someone, and speak aloud or silently, "I behold the Christ in you." And now, we don't want to leave our friends who are watching online out of this experience, so I invite you to look at the camera over the entry door. That's where they are, so to speak. Wave at them. We're glad you're here. And now let us affirm, "We behold the Christ in you." You're special, and you add something special to our celebration today at Unity South. We appreciate you. And we also extend our mind now to be aware of people all over the world, the entire human family, and all those who are turning their attention Godward, toward the source of life, toward the source of all as they understand it. And we recognize and honor their teachings, their traditions, what is really at the core of their hearts. And we say, we honor all people as they turn their attention Godward and celebrate the good. Wow, this is a world of wonders, and we are grateful. And it's now my pleasure to invite our board treasurer and prayer chaplain to the platform to lead us in our daily word and our community prayer time. Nancy.
The daily word for today, Sunday, March 26, 2023, is joy. I draw from my wellspring of joy. There are so many ways to express joy. I may speak words of praise that bring the awareness of even more blessings to mind. I may take joyful action, my every step aglow with the light of God, enlivening all I do. I celebrate the joyful, playful joy of every child, especially the child within me. I experience the same happiness whether I am in the heart of a busy city or in the stillness of nature. And then there's the quiet joy of just being, the richest joy of all. I rediscover my joy by taking slow, deep breaths, tapping into my wellspring of well-being that never runs out. I feel its energetic flow spilling over into my heart and life. What joy to be a spiritual being, a precious child of God. And from Luke, the 2nd chapter, 10th verse, "But the angel said to them, 'Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all people.'" Let us take a moment to think about today's word, joy. And now I'd like to share with you a community prayer. First, praying together in a community like this can create a wondrous energy flow that can lift us all. So take a moment to let go of anything that's been bothering you this week. Don't think about what comes next. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes And begin to take deep breaths. And just focus. We are one with divine mind. And realize your infinite potential. All things are possible when I realize oneness with God. In prayer, I seek insight, understanding, and spiritual knowledge about my hopes and dreams. I rise into a state of understanding, poised and confident in the promise of fulfillment. And we know that the more we practice, the greater the fulfillment will be. I want to acknowledge the prayer requests that are here in our prayer box that Unity South has received. We behold and affirm the truth within these individuals. We know that Spirit is working in their lives as they further awaken to the presence of God as their health, supply, and sense of purpose. Let us take a few moments of silence to continue that connection with Divine Spirit. Now let us sing the Lord's Prayer and feel the truth that is expressed in this motto of prayer taught by Jesus Christ.
And a prayer chaplain will be available after the service to pray individually with you for a celebration or a challenge in your life. There is never anything too big nor too small to approach a prayer chaplain and say, "Pray with me about," and they will affirm the truth within you. And now at this time, it's my pleasure to invite Colleen to come join us and lift us into the stratosphere with music.
Song we sing fears the way we die. You can. Come on, people now, smile on one another right now. Go, and we shall surely pay. One who left us here returns for us. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. Yeah. But if you hear the song I sing, you must understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's at your command. Come on now. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try and love one another right now. Come on, sing it with me. Come on. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try and love one another right now. Come on now, bring it home. Bring it home now, bring it on home. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody, try and love one another right now. Yeah.
Thank you for getting us going. Because it's a continual pursuit to keep us up in the... And sometimes it's really easy to get knocked off balance. I came in this morning and discovered not one of the beautiful lakes in the Twin Cities, but our own special lake in the restrooms downstairs this morning. Okay. And following the daily word, that wellspring. At some point, I remembered that I could reach down deep of these outer circumstances. And it reminded me that it was sort of a metaphor of our recent years here in the church. There's been so much change in the past few years, several, as I was working on the membership list for our annual meeting this afternoon, recalling the dear special people that have passed from our sight. We celebrated this past Wednesday the life of Richard Rick Hubbs. His brother Roger has often played with Judy, and his sister Joy Portsline. Many of you know she had the role of youth director a number of years ago in our church. Seeing all the changes we've had to deal with in our building, in different things going on. Positive changes, but you know, change, whether it's good or bad, it can knock us off center. And so that's what our unity practice of prayer is about. That's what our prayer chaplains are here to support you individually when you just feel a little off center, me included. This ability that you can always dig deep for that wellspring of joy, that wellspring of well-being, and pull it back up to the surface. Then centered in that, you can go about the things that need to be taken care of, the things that need to be changed, new ways of doing things. But that prayer center is what helps us to not react in anger, not react from a sense of disturbance, but just say, yes, I can handle this. I can face this. I can do what needs to be done from a place of center. If you've been joining in person or our friends online, the last few weeks as we have traveled this Lenten journey, this time when a community moves not in physical space, but in consciousness along the path that leads to Easter as a renewal of life, an uplifting of anything that may have faded or died away in our life. We renew it through this Easter mystery. But we have to prepare. We have to take steps toward that resurrection experience. And we do it in our own preparation. I've been referring to the book, Our Better Angels, 7 Virtues That Can Change Our Life and Our World, written by Jonathan Reckford, the CEO of Habitat for Humanity. His book has been leading us through these virtues, or angels, if you will, God's messengers of kindness, community, empowerment, last week joy, and today respect. Respect. And I've been delighted seeing how these virtues have really unfolded in a divine order for our experience. Because today, after this service and a time of refreshment downstairs, we'll convene again in this sanctuary for our annual membership meeting. And as long as I'm plugging that, anyone and everyone is welcome to attend the meeting. It is just only official members can vote. Other than that, you're welcome to hear the presentations, whether you are a member or not, or even if this is your first time to Unity South. But I was pleased that we were going to consider this angelic messenger, this virtue God has placed in the very center of our being that we may call respect. What an appropriate attitude or perspective for the day that we celebrate our past year as a church family and look forward and envision what is to come. Jonathan Reckford writes, "Respect for people of different cultures, races, faiths, or socioeconomic backgrounds is not the number one stated mission for Habitat for Humanity, and yet it's in the heart of everything we do. We are an organization that considers ourselves radically inclusive, meaning we don't try to convert people, and we joyfully work with people of all faiths or no religious history across all social divides. Through our mission to give people decent places to live, we use the concept of building both figuratively and literally. We don't just bring people together to build a home, we bring people together to build communities and hope. Now, isn't this perspective similar to all our Unity communities and other spiritual traditions as well? We bring people together who are seeking greater good. People who write down prayer requests or turn to our chaplains. Those who call the International Prayer Ministry at Unity World Headquarters in Missouri are all seeking one thing. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, noticed that many years ago, over 100 years ago, and he said, people come to Unity and they're asking for improved health and healing, for greater supply and abundance, for more harmonious work or harmonious relationships, a better place of work and purpose. But he said, in the final analysis, as we understand it in Unity, Everyone is simply seeking greater good. Greater good in their life and their world. Charles said what they really want is to have a closer, clearer connection with God or the source of all. And it's not necessarily in a religious form, but simply a feeling of well-being in their life, their family, their community, even the entire world. All people have an inner urge for an upward trajectory in their worldview, or what our President Biden recently expressed as, "We can do better." We can do better. This is not really a criticism of the past, but more so to build a hope for the future. The prophet Jeremiah heard those divine words. I know what my plans are for you, for your welfare, not your harm, and to give you a future with hope. Rudolf Steiner said we should strive for balance in our history and future, reminding ourselves about our past, thinking, I could have done better, and balancing that with our future view, I am not all I will one day be. So to look at what we've experienced, our story, if you will, and just have a perspective. You know, I could have done better. And then looking to the future with this idea, I am not all I will one day be. Whatever you've studied, whether it's working on your musical skills, your skills of any kind, your relationship skills, this is a nice center point to just be objective about your past experience, saying, well, I could have done better. I'll keep trying. And looking to your future and saying, I'm not all I will one day be. Some people even like those stickers or a sign in their office that says, work in progress. We're all evolving. That's what life is. And that's the truth of our church, our community. We're evolving, continually looking how we can improve. Just to speak on behalf of our board, in recent months, we've been considering, for a long time, there's been a story. Look at this sanctuary. Oh, wow, we need more people. We need more money to keep things going. But then they had a shift in perspective and said, no, we can do better. We need to do everything in this church with excellence for the people who are here, who show up. That keeps us here and now as individuals and as a community, rather constantly focusing on something we aren't yet. This isn't 2030. If I looked at my calendar correctly this morning, this is 2023, here now. I've heard out in the world by different commentators or writers speaking about some of the discord in our society, even the entire world, and looking at those disturbances and saying, that's not who we are. Have you heard that in the media? That's not who we are. Well, friends, on the ground level, that's how we're showing up. That's how we are in the moment. But not to lose hope. To acknowledge that brings up that statement, we can do better. We can do better. We look at what is here and now and then choose to take a step toward better, toward the new, toward the revival, the building up. A number of you are working in our Monday class. We're about to come to a conclusion. I can hardly believe our 6 weeks has gone by so quickly. But you've been studying the book with me and with my co-facilitator, Yvette Trotman, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, written by Emmanuel Acho, a former NFL football player, but a man with great vision. And after he learned of the tragedy of the murder of George Floyd here in our own city, he chose, what can I do? What can I do? And he began by developing a number of YouTube videos, just short 10-minute interviews with people about these issues of racial conflict in our country, even our world, and said, when we have the courage to have uncomfortable conversations, we learn. We learn about others. We learn their story. And we begin to understand and reconnect with people, especially people that at least outwardly appear differently than we do. People perhaps that worship in a way that's somewhat different than unity tradition, for example. Our whole world is diverse with differences. But just like I told my little story at the beginning of the lesson, encountering water downstairs, and how that threw me off balance, so too differences among us can throw us off center. And a way I believe we get back to that center is, as Reckford pointed out with his angel, virtue of respect. So what does respect mean to you? And dignity, a related word. Well, for me, as I've been exploring it, dignity. We support the dignity or self-esteem when we support another human being, supporting them to feel good about who they are, what their history is, what their experience, and to make them feel empowered toward the future, that they're evolving, that they're growing. We all are. So we support dignity in another in how we encourage them. Respect is our perspective on another. Do you respect who they are? Well, in unity, we can't get any more essential than to say, Tim Ray, you are God's good creation. It's my responsibility to remember that. And there are days that I have to work at it. Oh, not with Tim, because he's a friendly, encouraging member in this church. And so it's always uplifting when I talk with him. But there are others in the world that may not be as kind and charming as Tim. Whose responsibility is it? It's my responsibility to hold respect for another life, God created and placed that person in the world. Who am I to disregard that truth, to disrespect that individual? It takes work, though. It takes effort to see, especially those who are different in our life. I look in the mirror sometimes and I look different to myself. Things can throw us off, but it's a spiritual practice to maintain dignity and to respectfully view others. Here in our community, especially as we celebrate our history and our being a community this afternoon in our annual meeting, I ask you, do you respect everyone you encounter here? Well, a lot of people look to me and say, it's your job, Reverend Stacey, to lift up and respect everyone here. No, it's our job as a member of a spiritual community. It is your job. And when you walk through the doors of Unity South, I'm not saying come in with angel wings and just be perfect. We all have challenging weeks, but when you come in those doors, simply be mindful. I'm going to do my best to set my struggle, my personal agendas aside, and to be present to those I encounter in this church and see the highest truth, the best possibility. And if you have the experience I've had, and you encounter someone that it's a real struggle to see that higher truth in them, you know what? That's when you realize you have work to do. You need a healing. You need a new attitude. I could sing Patti LaBelle, but I won't. A new attitude, an adjustment. But you can do that. Whether you use the unity principles as we teach them, or you find other teachings that are helpful, whatever it takes, get a new attitude about whoever it is that's challenging you. Because they're actually a blessing in your life. A blessing in your life. Sometimes it's a much more difficult situation than others, but they're bringing something to your attention about yourself, about your ability to respect others. Well, one practical tool out of so many is one that comes from Dr. Maria Nemeth. I taught her course in 2017, and I'm feeling an urge to teach it again this year, and so I'll make that commitment. But she gives a little tool that you can practice. When you see someone here at Unity South, when you see someone in a store in the Twin Cities on 35 going one direction or the other, think about this. Consider that other person that's kind of getting under your skin, perhaps, and think, this person is a hero, whole and complete, just the way she is. This person has goals and dreams and a desire to make a difference. This person has loved ones, people he loves and who love him. This person has standards of integrity and pure intentions, whether or not she knows at this time what they are. This person makes a contribution to me in some way. This person is worthy of being treated with dignity and respect in the way that I interact with them. This person is worthy of being treated with dignity and respect in the way I interact with him. Seeing others with respect unites us, makes a connection. We realize, to use another cliche, we're all in the same boat. But we can go even further. It's a recognition that the same life and substance that brought them into being is what brought us into being. We're created by the same divine artist. So do what I do. When you look at somebody that gets under your skin on television or in person, just remind yourself. You may not believe it at first. You may not feel it at first, but remind yourself. This person is made of the same God stuff I am. The infinite source of all brought them into being with a purpose, with an opportunity. And I should respect that. I should honor that. Now I'll go a little further. Our co-founder in Unity, Charles Fillmore, sometimes he described things in a rather graphic way. And we can see it as a metaphor, but I think for Charles, it was a reality. And he said, this infinite life that is flowing through you and you and you and you and you, this one divine life flowing through us all, makes us one family. And whenever you separate out in your thinking or your actions, you cut someone off, as it were. Charles said it is like you are cutting an artery of God life, severing an artery. That's kind of a disturbing experience. But he was trying to make the point. When you make anybody an other, separate from you, you're severing an artery of that perfect life of God that's flowing through us all. Have you seen in the news or read in a book some of these amazing things? You know, Mother Nature teaches us all the time if we just pay attention. And there are forests and other forms, other organisms besides trees, but there are forests where through the root system underground, that entire forest can be understood as one living organism. It's all tied together. Is that not true also for us? It's like those roots of God, of the substance and life that we need to build up a body, to have a soul that thinks and feels and acts, wills to action. We're all woven by one root system that is God. And maintaining that sense of unity which for me gets much closer to what Charles and Myrtle were thinking when in 1891 they chose the name Unity. Unity will be the name of our work, our idea, our intention, our purpose. Not a unity that simply hugs and kisses, but a deep foundation, a deep root network where we realize God life, the flow of substance and the power of life is working through this network and coming up as wonderful, unique expressions in each one of us. Yet we're all related. We're all connected. And our spiritual purpose can be to continually practice that unity, that connection in how we see one another. Just to conclude Charles' comments, sometimes I've talked to several of you after our uncomfortable conversations class, and my co-facilitator, Ann John Trotman, suggested in their 40 years here at Unity South, this was the first time that we were taking on uncomfortable conversations about life in this real world. And I said, as a Unity minister, I've been troubled in my more recent years, wondering if our foundational statements, our 5 principles, our statement of being, if we're keeping it so high, like that stratosphere Colleen led us into in music, it's so high that we're forgetting how it can help us down here on the ground. But the Fillmores did teach. Unity was trying to help people understand a practical Christianity, a practical spiritual practice that would help you over here in the parking lot of Home Depot or Sam's, over here encountering people at Walmart or Mall of America, or people you work with. Our teaching should be helpful, useful, powerful in our daily living. Charles said it goes into every aspect. He believed an understanding of that life flowing through all of us, like that artery of God, if you will, that maintaining that health and well-being helped us physically, with our physical well-being. It helped our soul in terms of our peace of mind, the balance of our emotional life, and the strength of our will to say, I will do. All those aspects of our daily life are affected on the dignity we hold for ourselves and the related respect in which we see others. So let's close with a moment of journeying inside to take these ideas, to plant them as seed thoughts, or to see how you're already working with these ideas. And I invite you to close your eyes. Turn your attention within. Be aware of your breathing, so that you're grounded in the here and now. Father, Mother God, we acknowledge you are always and everywhere present. That means here, now. That means with me. That means within each person I encounter. Each person I encounter is a God. Each person is your creation. If I hold dignity for myself, I must in turn respect others as your good creation. Loving my neighbor as myself, as part of myself, as one God organism. To know this connection is to practice what we call in Unity South embracing others. To embrace them as a part of your reality. Now we become aware that appreciating and respecting others is what we call in this church loving them. Loving them. Seeing the good, the true of them. And then we behold and respect the potential for growth, the potential for ever greater good in ourselves and in others. And this is what we mean in our church when we say empowering others. So the motto that this church holds, embracing, loving, empowering, is a spiritual practice, not a mere slogan. Spirit of truth, I am grateful. We can all be grateful that each and every day we can do better. We can do better. And our hope is we are not yet all we will one day be. We're in a continual process of renewal and empowerment. And for that we say, thanks be to God. Or if you choose, wow, world of wonders. We are a world of wonders. And so it is. And as Judy and Colleen prepare for their next wonder, I invite you to consider your gifts for Unity South. What you choose to give this morning, what you choose to give at another time, bring it into your mind's eye and bless it. And say, this is my love offering that I send forth to build up a common good, a common life for all. Colleen, take it away.
If you disrespect everybody that you run into, how in the world do you think anybody's gonna respect you? Now if you don't give a heck about a man with the Bible in his hand, oh, just get out the way and let the gentleman do his thing. You the kind of gentleman who wants everything his way. You take the sheet off your face, boy, it's a brand new day. Respect respect yourself, da, 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 respect yourself, dee, 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 dee. 'Cause if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good cahoot, na, na, no, respect yourself. If you're walking around thinking that the world owes you something 'cause you're here, you're going up the world backward like you did when you first come here. You keep talking about the president who won't stop air pollution. No. Just put your hand over your mouth when you cough, that'll help the solution. Oh, you cuss around women, folk you don't even know their name, no. And then you're dumb enough to think that'll make you a bigger man, yeah. Hey, respect yourself, na, 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 na. Respect yourself, dee, 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 dee. 'Cause if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good cahoot, na, 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 respect yourself.
Well, look, it's Don and Sue. Such a team. Thank you for taking up all these love offerings. I invite you to join together in our blessing you find on the screen, I hope, maybe not. You'll find it in your bulletin. Recognizing the value of this spiritual community in my life, I affirm divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and I am grateful. And so it is. I invite you to stand as we have our closing song, and fortunately it's one that we know quite well, Let Go and Let God. Carlotta's, oh, there it is. And a reminder, we have a bounty of good things downstairs, not just sweets. We have sandwiches to help tide you over to return at 12:30 for the annual meeting here in the sanctuary. Let it rip. Prepare to depart this morning. let our final words together be our prayer for protection, to set us on the right path for this coming week. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. I'll see you downstairs.